Hello and welcome to Hawaii to PTC 24. Joining me now is Brian Moon, Chief Executive Officer for PTC. And Brian, well done.
Thank you.
You're the last one that we're interviewing. We left you to the end on purpose.
Oh, last but the last.
But the first, because you're the mastermind behind it all. So
it's a good team. No, it's a really good team. We've had a really successful week. We've tried a lot of new things this year, some of which we think will resonate and we'll bring back. Some others will tweak a little bit. But no, it's been a really good effort by the entire team, partners like yourselves that have helped make this event, I mean, truly its best ever. And I'll share with your audience first is that last year we said this was the biggest annual conference, and now this year it was the biggest annual conference.
Do we have numbers, or are you still counting heads?
We're still counting heads. So, I mean, people were still registering today? This afternoon, this morning, and so we'll count all the data. But from what we understood when the pace we were going, we'll surpass last year. So it's good news. It's good news.
What's been the highlights for you? I mean, we were just chatting about some announcements that you had. But we'll talk about the new stuff in a second. But from what's happened over the last, I don't even know how many days PTC is. It's 4, 5, 6 days. It depends on how you look at the calendar. It's as soon as you land here, that's a day.
And actually, it's a really good point because the official days of the conference are Sunday through Wednesday, and then we have partner programs that start on Saturday. But I was speaking with other members, board members even, and there were many people coming in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because they had so many meetings, they weren't going to be able to fit them, which I think is terrific, right? And then the other piece I would say is that I met more people this week that said, this is my first time here, which I think is something to say. I think it shows on all the work that we've done to program the conference. And that what's great is that, we've delivered the value proposition on why the conference is important. So those are two things that really stand out is just there's more general interest and buzz. And we could feel that ahead of time as well. People were engaging with our marketing, engaging with our social media, our digital marketing. And there was just a really positive momentum. And we saw it in numbers and things like that with registration leading up to the week.
Okay. And then, of course, as a CEO of an organization like this, you had a week where you must have been bombarded with information, with data, I think that's happening in the world. So how do you kind of see the challenges the world is going through? That was a big conversation here, geopolitics, wars and all that. So how do you see those challenges, and how is PTC helping the debate to happen around that? I think that actually ties into some of the announcements you've had this morning.
Absolutely.
Give us your view.
Well, I would say that the advantage PTC has is we're a membership organization first and foremost. We're technically a 501c3 nonprofit, which I think gives us an advantage in that way where we will always be member driven. Whatever our members ask us to do, we consider it. At the end of the day, if we can't show the value of that we're supporting our members or supporting the industry, we probably shouldn't invest in an initiative or a program like that. I think I agree with you, there were some really good conversations, right? Really real world conversation on what's going on in the world. And I would say the answer is it's what our members want us to focus on. Again, we stay neutral on issues like that because it doesn't affect us directly as an organization, but it does affect our members. But if there are initiatives or programs they want us to look at that may help them navigate that. And again, it is examples like the conference here, where you have CEOs from various organizations that are all going through this on a day-to-day basis for their companies. But if we provide them a platform to have a conversation with their peers, right, whether it's on a center stage or in top of bar, etc., that's how we can support that conversation.
Right. So how does it tie into the announcements they had this morning? I'm going to let you make the announcements. There's quite a few exciting things.
I'm going to do another drum roll. So we had two really big announcements that I've been just dying to share publicly. So the first one is we announced that we are partnering with Columbia Business School out of Columbia University, and we're starting an executive education program. So that will take place before PTC 25. It'll be a 3-day program limited to 30 executives. And so it's essentially filling that void of, we're seeing that current CEOs 5-10 years from the road, who's going to replace them, right? And making sure that bucket of candidates have the proper training to learn. And the program is going to be very specific. And the professors and the lead professors are working with Columbia right now come from that background. They understand technology. They are full aware of what the trends are in the industry. Like we talked about geopolitics, what's going on, economy. But so we're going to make the training very relevant to this industry. I think that's what makes it really special for them.
Is there an age limit to the program, or is it open to everyone?
Open to anyone. Certainly I think companies will make it decide on themselves who they want to propose, but no age limit to that. But it'll be limited to 30 executives that companies will probably see that are elevating into the C-suite. Yeah. The second big announcement that we made today is we're going to Washington, D.C. in September this year. We're going to the Capitol, my hometown, which is not the reason we chose Washington, D.C., but we are returning to Washington, D.C. So PTC DC is the name of the conference. It will take place September 5th through the 6th at the JW Marriott. And it's not this conference moved to DC. That's not the point of it at all. What we wanted to focus on in Washington, D.C. is obviously it's the government, it's the policy. And so it'll be a much more intimate, exclusive event. We are anticipating about 200 attendees, but 200 of the right attendees. And the audience will also include government, policymakers, regulators, public equity, private equity, our attendees, our members, the business community. So we're essentially bringing the PTC to DC because we've also learned it is difficult sometimes for government officials to come to Hawaii in January for a business conference. And so that's the goal. And we've heard terrific feedback about it so far when we've kind of talked to some constituents about it. And it's been fairly positive that it's the right move.
Yeah. I can't wait to see something, and I think it's very top. It's very off the moment. It's something that probably is very much needed to facilitate those discussions. And I assume an organization like yours will not have an issue getting the right people at the table. Right. I think the size of the event is right. Yes. Yeah. And we will like a bit of Washington in September. So
it's still again having grown up in the area. The winter you never know. It's unpredictable. It's cold. It's cold. So it's beautiful. DC, Washington DC has great fall weather. Yes.
If you said, if this was from Chicago in January, then you probably we would.
Yeah. We looked all around the mainland first, but Washington DC, it's in September.
Any plans to take any PTC editions outside of the US?
We're always up for those types of discussions. The great news is for PTC is that we have lots of partners and other organizations that want to work with us. There's certainly relevant causes. And for example, this past year in 2023, we work with ITU on their Girls in ICT Day, which is a very successful program that we launched. Yeah, it's the International Telecommunications Union. And PTC was a sponsor. We put together a session for them. So we'll always look at those types of opportunities. Certainly, we'll see with an event like PTC DC what the feedback is, how it goes. And I think we're always open to if that model. And again, it goes back to the question, answering the question. What's the value, right? What's the value for our members? What's the value for our industry? And if it makes sense, we're happy to have that conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Beyond the new things that are coming, there's also a few new things here.
Yeah.
Some changes around Beyond the Women's Series.
Yep.
So based on the experience this year, what's going to change or for you already happened? How are you going to improve 2024?
Yeah, we did a lot of new things, and so we'll have a lot of homework to do. It was really busy in a really good way. But first and foremost, even with our content, we completely revamped that. We wanted to try something new. So instead of traditional one-on-one to audience keynote speakers, we brought CEOs together. It was standing room only for all 6 center stage sessions. So we think there's something there that we found. But even the PTC Hub area, the lightning talks, 10, 15 minute, like TED Talk style.
The attention span nowadays.
It's crowded, right? So that's what you need. And then we had in the afternoon really focused topical sessions, right? Focusing on actually one of the main things we heard this year was satellite technology. It's always existed here. Our membership has satellite companies in it, but for example, absolutely. And Starlink became a member right before the conference. So there's certainly something there too. And so having focused sessions like satellite, fiber, AI, regulatory, I think that helped the audience as well. So it's more of a geeky conference thing, but if you know how to manage a schedule, more people will sit in on content because because they want to do it. It's just they're so busy with other things. But exactly what you said, the other initiatives we had versions 2 of, PTC Beyond, the young professionals, they elevated the program. I thought it was fantastic. Great feedback from the professionals who participated in that. It's just now how do we do that better? PTC Women, we can always improve on that initiative. We need to build a community here for women professionals, that they have a safe place to meet, that they feel included, but they're also getting something out of it. And part of that, we were very fortunate to host the Lieutenant Governor of Hawaii, Sylvia Luke, was here Tuesday morning. She was fantastic and very bright, obviously, guest, and she knows the industry because broadband connectivity for the island is at the top of her initiative list. And so she addressed the PTC Women's Power Women Breakfast, so I thought that was a great addition. And then other things, I mean, these are more conference related, but we managed the top of bar for the first time, so to make sure, and we added value to our members for that. We had some membership benefits tied to that. We renovated the membership lounge, and so again, it goes back to driving value for our members. So again, we tried a lot. I think a lot of stuff worked, right? So, but we'll go back and we'll review all of our notes and feedback from our members and attendees and see what we need to
eventually take over the island. It's going to be all the way from here to Diamond Head.
I know, it's scary. I know.
Not impossible.
Not impossible.
There's enough people here to do that.
Yeah.
But then I was going to ask as well, so last year you joined about a month before the conference started, so at least you were thrown into the sharks.
Yes.
How's the first year been? I mean, now that the conference is finished, how was the experience for you? For you.
I'll say you're absolutely right. I had joined right before PTC 23, and so I mean, big kudos to the team that had already laid the foundation of that event. So this was the first full year. Is what still it very much excites me that we have a very supportive board of governors, very supportive advisory council, an excellent team on the ground here, and I still view this in the most exciting way as a startup, which is amazing because the organization's been around for 46 years, coming on 50 years soon. But we still have this opportunity, like we talked about a minute ago, try new things, see how they go. And again, our experiment this week was really well received, but we still get to do that, right? You're still bringing the industry together, but you get to try new programs, and our industry is accepting of that as long as it's relevant. So I use that analogy a lot, where it's I feel like a startup because we still get to do it, right? It's exciting every single day.
It's the ability to innovate, and again, the industry's changing so much, and no matter what challenge are thrown, there's always the positive side of it, and these guys are very good at taking a negative and turning it into
absolutely,
and it also allows for innovation.
Absolutely,
on the conference side of things.
So
conference side of things, we've discussed Colombia, we've discussed PTC Beyond Women, PTC 25. So the big dog coming next year. What can you share at this stage, as much as you can now?
Well, I can tell you for sure the dates of the conference are January 19th through the 22nd. We are here at the Hilton Hawaiian Village. I think I think it's a little too soon to definitively say what we think we're doing. Again, I think we've done things with the program that I think were very positive across center stage, lightning talks, the topical sessions. I think there are definitely events like, as again we discussed, PTC Women, PTC Beyond. At that point, this time next year, Columbia Business School, the executive education will have taken place, so it's great to see that. But also, I should mention we had the PTC Beyond Academy take place this year, which is focused on the young professionals, 35 years and younger, and that was really well attended. We had 12 participants in that, so it shows you the commitment of these organizations, that they believe in it, that they're going to spend those investments in bringing their young people here. So, we're always going to change and try new things. So again, probably a little bit too early to definitively say, but there are definitely some things we tried this year that we'll be able to build on.
I think maybe it's worth a mention to the PTC Awards as well, because they happened this morning. Breakfast Awards, which I personally have never seen before, so that was quite bold. But it seems to have worked well.
It was quite bold. It was one of those things where you watch RSVPs to see how it goes, but again, I think everyone enjoyed it. People were with us at 9 o'clock this morning, full room, full capacity. I think the program, the way we made it fun. I know McKenna, she's a great personality, and we made it lively. And we had what's great is, I should say this is, The awards were obviously all third party. We have a jury that decides the award, so it's not PTC, it's not my team that are selecting the award winners, and so we're not in it at all. But what was great to see is that it was a lot of newer companies, maybe companies that aren't as familiar in the industry. We had winners. We had some veterans as well, and so I think again something we tried in the morning and see how it went, and again really well received at this point. We'll see. Yeah.
All right. So last question. One word to describe how you feel now that everything is over.
One word.
One word.
Excited.
All right.
Excited, and that can mean a lot of things. But in the frame of this conversation, the team worked really hard this year. Again, my first full year, but the team was here, and for them and the board and to have the trust that we're going to try new things and support it. Was really, really, obviously it makes things easier when we have that type of support, but when I say excited, it's now what's next, right? And so we're doing things like the Columbia announcement, PTC DC, PTC 25, which is the main event, but it's that excitement of we get to do it all again and add these new things to it. So
there's plenty of space in this resort to do that. And there's a whole of
there's lots of space, believe it or not. As full as it was this week, there's lots of spaces we can take advantage of.
Brian Moon, CEO of PTC, thank you so much for talking to us. Thank you so much for having us over.
Absolutely.
We always enjoy coming over. But I hope we see you again next year. See you in DC, see you in Honolulu.
Yes, I'm counting on it.
And come to London as well.
Yes. I love London. Absolutely.
Travel all the way. Thanks so much for talking to us.
You're welcome.
As for your home, thank you for watching, and do check our website and social media for more timely news from the digital infrastructure sector worldwide. At Tech Capital, you lead, who reports. Aloha.